You stepped in, and the air tensed. No one said a word. But something shifted, like the room braced for something it couldn't explain. That wasn't coincidence. That was recognition. Not of your face, but of your frequency. You carry a current. It doesn't ask permission. It moves before you speak, before you even mean to be noticed. It's not charisma. It's not charm. It's truth. And truth has gravity. You don't just enter a room. You unsettle it. Because when you walk in whole, everyone else feels the parts they've hidden. Some call it presence. Others call it energy. But really, it's your field. A force shaped by everything you've survived, suppressed, or integrated. And it lingers long after you've gone. Carl Jung called it the self, the imprint that moves ahead of your name and beyond your body. Most people never access it, but some do. In this video, we explore 12 rare signs your energy doesn't just stand out. It rearranges reality. If people sense you before they understand you, this message is your reflection. Sign 1. You shift spaces without effort. You don't need to speak. The moment you arrive, something subtle changes. People straighten up, conversations slow, eyes track you, even if only for a second. This isn't charisma, it's coherence. When your inner world is aligned, when you're no longer at war with yourself, that quiet alignment radiates. It tells the room something ancient and wordless. Truth just entered. Most people live disjointed, hiding wounds behind performance. But you walk in wholeness. And that wholeness disrupts dysfunction just by being present. Sign 2. You expose without trying. You don't dig for secrets. You don't ask probing questions. Yet somehow your presence peels layers off people. They fidget, they ramble, they glance away too quickly. Why? Because being near you forces them to feel what they've avoided inside themselves. You are a walking mirror, a reminder of what's been buried. Some may call you intimidating, arrogant, or cold, but they're not describing you. They're describing what awakens in them when you're near. Sign 3. You can't fake small talk. Your soul rejects surface-level conversation. Smiling through scripted greetings, weather updates, and forced laughter feels like swallowing dust. It's not that you hate people, you just crave substance. You're wired to detect authenticity. Your energy drops when the room isn't being real. You sense the mask, and your body recoils. You don't need every exchange to be profound. You just need it to be true. Sign 4. Strangers tell you their secrets. You're not a therapist. You didn't ask for the life story. But somehow they pour it out. Their pain, their regrets, their ghosts. Why? Because your energy says, you're safe here. You don't judge. You don't try to fix. You simply hold space. And that's rarer than any advice. The unconscious recognizes you as sanctuary, and so it speaks. Sign 5. You're often misunderstood. You mean well. You move with clarity and kindness. But still, people misread you. You're called too much, or too quiet, or hard to read. That's because you don't play roles. You don't adjust yourself to fit in. And that threatens people who rely on performance to feel safe. They can't categorize you, so they label you instead. Sign 6. Animals and children sense you. A dog that rests at your feet without command. A child who stares wide-eyed and wordless. Even birds seem to hover closer. These aren't accidents. This is resonance. Children and animals don't care for words. They read frequency. And yours is grounded, clear, non-threatening. They feel you, not your image. Sign 7. Your silence isn't empty. It echoes. You don't need to speak to make a statement. Your stillness carries weight. You're quiet, holds more presence than most people's speeches. People sense your silence like a pressure in the air, comforting to some, unsettling to others. Because in that stillness, there is no mask, no noise, only truth. You're not being mysterious. You're being whole. And in a world addicted to noise, your stillness is louder than thunder. Sign 8. You stopped trying to fit in. You've tried in earlier seasons of your life. You smiled when you didn't feel it. You laughed to belong. But something inside you always rebelled. And eventually you stopped forcing it. Now you walk your own rhythm. You don't dilute yourself for approval. And while that journey cost you comfort, it bought you freedom. Some call you distant. The truth? You're just done shrinking to be digestible. Sign 9. You read what's not being said. You don't need explanations. You feel the tremor beneath someone's smile. You sense the weight behind a light-hearted comment. You know when someone's lying, not always with logic, but with certainty. Your intuition isn't mystical, it's memory. The body remembering what truth feels like. It may overwhelm you. You may wish to unfeel it. But this sensitivity is your gift and your guide. Sign 10. You attract projections. You become a character in someone else's inner drama. The villain, the savior, the mystery. None of it is real. But they cast you anyway. Why? Because your presence activates. It stirs what's unhealed. And people either idolize or demonize what they can't yet integrate in themselves. Your only job: know what's yours and release what isn't. Sign 11. You leave echoes behind. You leave a room. But part of you stays. Not a scent, not a sound, a feeling. People may forget your words, but they remember your presence. They remember how they felt around you. Seen, triggered, safe, shaken. Your energy imprints because you showed up fully in a world full of fragments. Sign 12. Your energy was forged, not found. You weren't born with a glow. You earned it through heartbreak, shadow work, and silent nights where no one clapped for your healing. Your calm is a war story. Your peace is a rebellion. You radiate not because you've never known pain, but because you walked through it and didn't abandon yourself. Others sense this. They may not know your story, but they feel its weight and the dignity with which you carry it. The unseen truth beneath all these signs. You didn't choose this path to feel special. You chose it to survive, and then slowly, to thrive. The energy people feel around you, that gravity, that stillness, that fire wrapped in calm. It's the result of 1,000 silent decisions to stay awake in a world that begs for numbness. Yes, some will recoil. Yes, some will misunderstand you. But some will rise. They will feel your presence like a compass, a mirror, a reminder of who they were before they forgot. You're not here to fix everyone. You're here to embody wholeness. And let that be the silent permission others didn't know they were waiting for. If you resonated with this, you already know. You're not just different. You're rare, not louder, not better, just clearer. More you than you've ever been. And that clarity, it shakes systems. It rewrites rooms. It awakens worlds. So the next time someone says, "There's something about you," don't shrink, don't deflect, don't apologize. Simply nod and let them feel what they're really sensing. Power. Aligned, awake, and fully alive. You don't need to explain your intensity. The world has taught people to fear what they cannot name. And your depth, your stillness, your presence, it doesn't fit into categories. People often want you to be smaller, softer, easier to understand. Not because you're wrong, but because you're a mirror they're not ready to look into. But you've learned, shrinking doesn't serve anyone, least of all yourself. You've already paid the price of pretending. You've already sacrificed pieces of your truth for comfort that never came. Now, you walk unmasked. You speak less, but you mean more. You move slower, but you cut deeper. You are no longer trying to be liked. You're choosing to be real. The rarest souls feel the weight of perception. You sense what others overlook. You hear what goes unsaid. You know when a smile is really a shield, when a compliment hides comparison, when silence means someone's soul is screaming. It's not just empathy, it's energetic fluency. This gift can isolate you, make you feel too much, but it also grants you access to a richer dimension of life, where truth hums beneath every moment, and nothing is meaningless. You see the soul behind the stranger. You hear the sorrow beneath the sarcasm. You witness people not just for what they show, but for who they forgot they were. And because of that, your energy heals, without effort, without tools, just presence. You've been the one to hold space, even when you had no one to hold yours. There were nights no one saw, moments when your knees hit the floor, your voice caught in your throat, and still, you rose. Not quickly, not gracefully, but you rose. And that's why you carry depth. That's why your aura lingers. You're not magnetic because you're perfect. You're magnetic because you're integrated. Every wound has been folded into wisdom. Every loss has become an opening. Every silence has become a container. You are not healed because you avoided darkness. You are healed because you made your home in it, until the light remembered your name. People don't know how to categorize you, so they either follow or flee. You'll notice, some people are drawn to you like gravity. They open up, soften, breathe easier in your presence. Others, they pull away, misinterpret your peace as arrogance, your silence as judgment, your presence as a threat. And neither reaction is about you. It's about what you reflect back to them. Those who fear their own shadow will see you as danger. Those who are ready to wake up will see you as a doorway. Don't waste time convincing either. Your job isn't to dim your light for the comfort of the crowd. It's to shine in such a way that those searching for their own glow finally see the path home. You carry an ancient rhythm, and it doesn't sync with superficial time. You feel disconnected in crowds, rushed by the pace of society, bored by the rituals of smallness. Why? Because your energy isn't meant to survive in shallow water. You were built for depth, built for truth, built for transformation. That's why meaningless interactions drain you. That's why you sometimes retreat, not out of weakness, but because the noise outside can't compete with the truth within. Your solitude is sacred. It's where you remember who you are. You don't need a title to be powerful. You don't need followers to have influence. You don't need applause to feel real. Your energy speaks louder than your resume, louder than any algorithm, louder than any branding ever could. Because presence, real presence, cannot be faked. It cannot be marketed. It can only be embodied. And when you walk in that kind of integrity, the world responds, sometimes with admiration, sometimes with resistance, but always with awareness. You are not invisible. You are undeniable. So what now? Now you own it. You stop apologizing for your frequency. You stop questioning why your journey feels different, heavier, lonelier. You stop trying to fit into spaces that were never built for people like you. Instead, you embrace it. You become the presence you once longed to find. You stand in your truth, like it's your second skin. Not shouting, not proving, not chasing, just being. And in doing so, you activate what's asleep in others. You call forward the dormant. You awaken the quiet leaders. That's why meaningless interactions drain you. That's why you sometimes retreat. Not out of weakness, but because the noise outside can't compete with the truth within. Your solitude is sacred. It's where you remember who you are. You don't need a title to be powerful. You don't need followers to have influence. You don't need applause to feel real. Your energy speaks louder than your resume, louder than any algorithm, louder than any branding ever could. Because presence, real presence, cannot be faked. It cannot be marketed. It can only be embodied. And when you walk in that kind of integrity, the world responds, sometimes with admiration, sometimes with resistance, but always with awareness. You are not invisible. You are undeniable. So what now? Now you own it. You stop apologizing for your frequency. You stop questioning why your journey feels different, heavier, lonelier. You stop trying to fit into spaces that were never built for people like you. Instead, you embrace it. You become the presence you once longed to find. You stand in your truth, like it's your second skin, not shouting, not proving, not chasing, just being. And in doing so, you activate what's asleep in others. You call forward the dormant. You awaken the quiet leaders. You give permission to the parts of others they've buried in silence. You become a living invitation. The truth is, you are the reminder. The world forgot how to feel, how to listen, how to hold space without controlling it. But you didn't. You remembered. Through the fire, through the nights no one witnessed, through the quiet no's that rebuilt your life, one boundary at a time. And now, your energy is not just a vibe. It's a signal to the weary, to the lost, to the seekers. And when they find you, they won't ask what you do or what your story is. They'll just say, "You feel like home." Final words. If this script resonated, it's because it wasn't written for you. It was written from you. It's not teaching, it's remembering. You already knew these truths. You've lived them. Now they just have a name. So here's yours. Unapologetically rare, unshakably present, unmistakably real. Let the world feel that, because your presence doesn't need validation. It only needs space. And if you made it this far, comment below. I no longer shrink to fit small spaces. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment below and share your opinions. We read every single one. Thanks for watching.